Hello, and welcome to this video. Today, we are going to play some Backpack Hero. And what I'm going to do is, since I saw some people struggling on Reddit that could really use a helping hand in what the heck is going on in this video game, I'm going to do this video to over-explain everything that's going on in this game. Here are my qualifications. I've beat the game with Purse on hard mode. So at the on easy mode, on standard mode, I'm getting like a 90% win rate. So I'm just hoping I can help elevate people to at least my level. You know, I'm gonna teach you everything I know. That's what's happening. So to start, this is gonna be over-explained. So I'm just gonna keep talking about everything. So to start, obviously, you want to get the 3 starting items. We're not going to talk to Matthew, just to not complicate things too much. Meal, very good. You can use it twice. It costs 0 in the top right there. You see it costs 0. That's your little energy symbol, the top right. And it adds 2 energy, which is very good early on, because otherwise you might take a lot of damage for no reason. Rough Buckler is your standard issue shield. Gives you 7 block. It's not great. There are much better shields. Mostly because this one takes up 4 slots in your backpack. It's pretty cumbersome and you want to get rid of it relatively soon. Wooden Sword, same thing, standard issue, takes up too much space for what it is, so we'll be looking to get rid of that post-haste. Now, we have a decision to make right away, which is to go to the Bramble or to the Crypt. Now, the only real difference is the type of enemies you find, the types of encounters. I generally like to go Bramble for no particular reason. It's just that back in the early days of Backpack Hero, the Bramble was a hidden level, so I still feel like it has some value in its secrecy. Alright, but starting off with a fight is good. You definitely want to do that, because the first fight will guaranteed level us up. You can see that we need 5 experience to level up. Start with 0, obviously, and just by killing this bee, we'll level up. You know, you don't level up mid-fight, you don't level up until the end of the given fight, but this will give us plenty of XP to level up, which will give us more bag space that we can work with so we can carry more items and then be better. Now, this guy's going to deal some damage to me. I'm going to use the meal. I always think it's best to use the meal early to save you some heartache. This lets us block for 7, so this guy, you can tell that he's going to block for 15 at the start of his turn, and also after that he's going to attack for 9 damage. And if we didn't have block, we'd just be taking that 9 damage and be down to 31, but with the block, currently we'd only be taking 2 damage. But this guy can be a pain to get through, so we'll attack him here just to... you know what, we'll also meal again. Getting some early damage in will be fine. Oh, now here's another mechanic. So, if your backpack is in a bad place, you can always reorganize. It'll cost you 3 energy, so that's all your starting energy. But it'll let you move your stuff around your backpack, because currently you can't move things around. You can also scratch, which is basically, if you don't have any weapons for some reason, you can deal 3 damage for 1 energy. Now, there are uses for this. Later on, once we run into enemies with spikes, we'll be able to scratch and not take any spike damage, if that is an issue. But anyways, getting to this thing. So you can reorganize now to claim this item. So if I spend 3 energy here, I can grab this shoe hat, put it in my bag, and move things around. You get offered 3 items via this means per fight, and I think the amount of turns in between when it offers you those items varies. But we don't really care about the shoe hat. It's a common. You can see in the bottom right of the icon there, there's a common item, so we'll probably just run into one anyways. But this fight, since we can't really break through a shield without using our sword 3 times, we're just going to full block here. Send it. Bronze breastplate, pretty good breastplate, or pretty good chest armor. Chest armors are unique in that they have different upgrades that you can put on them, and chest armors have some of the better ones, mostly because they take up 4 slots in your bag usually. But I don't think we really need this, and we don't really have the space for it anyway, so we're just gonna defeat you, level up. Now, A lot of theory could go into the whole level up process, but I tend to stick to doing these 4 at the bottom first, or it's the same if you want to do these 4 up top. These are the borders. I think your bag can go pretty far out. Yeah, up to here in either direction. So 4 out this way, 4 out this way, and then the 3 in the middle. You can't go up very far or down very far, but generally what I like to do is just do this for simplicity's sake, just so I have enough room to slot all my things. Now here, I've heard a lot of items. Curse potion. No, am I gonna have to talk about curses already? Oh yeah, what's the button? You can right click on a card to view it, and then when you're in this mode, you can hover over keywords to see what they mean. So adding great luck increases your chance of finding rare items, and it stacks. Luck is a very good stat if you can find it. You can tell it's good because this one has a trade-off, which is that you get a curse. Curse items cannot be left behind until they are cleansed or destroyed. Yeah, curses are, I don't think, is pretty self-explanatory. You do not want them. Later on, if we get a curse, I'll explain in greater detail what that means. But for now, Heart Ring, just a common. It gives you 5 max HP, but it doesn't heal you for that much. And as long as you have it, you have the extra 5 max HP. Keys are used to open chests. Shiv is pretty nice. It costs 0, but it only deals 2 damage, but it's still better than nothing. Apart from that, the dagger applies poison, which is very similar to Slay the Spire poison. Enemy will take X damage at the end of the turn, and the poison decreases by 1 every turn. So if you poison an enemy for 2, that turn they will take 2 poison at the end of their turn, and then it will be reduced by 1, so the next turn it will go down again, but it does stack, so you can potentially in one turn apply like 6 poison, and it'll go down by 1 to 5, etc, etc. My first wand uses mana instead of energy. Currently we don't have any mana stones, which is usually how you get mana, but it does give you regen. It increases mana cost for the turn. We'll take it. We'll hold on to that just in case we get some mana. We can go over here. A little heart on the map lets you heal for 5. This exclamation point shows you the boss you're going to fight, which if you don't know what the bosses do, kind of doesn't matter. But this lets you plan ahead, potentially, so you don't accidentally counter yourself. Now for this. Okay, so this guy is cowardly. You see by hovering over here, will flee if only cowardly enemies remain. Now this could potentially be good. This means that if you kill this guy will just leave. The downside of that is that you will not get the XP. Like this guy will give you 7 XP for defeating this enemy. But if he flees, you get none of that. And this guy is also angry. So whenever he is attacked, so if I were to hit him with the sword and the shiv, he would gain a rage, which gives him a +1 to attack. Now... Oh, and since he's attacking twice, this will actually, if I attack him with the shiv once, I'll actually just do that. Yeah, he'll gain 1 attack, 1 damage when attacking, so it actually increases damage by 2, which is problematic. So for now, we're just going to probably double block. Oh, and this guy inflicts burn, which is similar to poison. The only difference is that burn does not go through block, so if he were to burn me here, I would be able to block it potentially. And burn also goes down by 1 every turn. Just like rage here. So at the end of his turn, if I don't attack him anymore, he will go down to 0 rage. But I think, let's see, I'll have enough block to block this because he'll do 5 + 5 plus the 3 from this. So he attacks me, and the burn goes off and then gets reduced by 1. So on this next turn, at the end of my turn, I'll take only 2 burn damage. But I'm pretty sure with this, yes, I can exactly kill this guy. Now, I will be taking a lot of damage because this guy will just attack me. I'll take this, but 7, which is how much damage this does, times 3, my energy is 21, so I can perfectly kill him, get my XP, and take a lot of damage from this guy. That's not really a worry. I am 1 off here, so we will block. Oh, and now he's going to inflict us with a hazard. So a hazard is something that the enemy will put into your bag that is detrimental, that will last for the end of the fight. When your turn ends, create a fire in an adjacent random space, and in order to get rid of it, because if a hazard is covering an item fully, then you won't be able to use that item. So let's see. So if I cover up the shiv there, I won't be able to use the shiv until I get rid of the fire by spending 0 energy, and on use it adds 2 burn to myself and then is destroyed. Oh, it also applied, I didn't even know this, when an item behind this is used, adds 1 burn. So if I put this over here and I use the shield, it'll apply burn to me, which is pretty bad. But since I don't have a full backpack, I just put an empty space and it'll be relatively okay. Now I just shiv and stab you. The fires spread, but they go away since the fight's over. And now on the second level up, I usually do this. I don't know why. It just is the way I feel I should do it. Oh, here we go. So we got offered a wooden blade, which in essence is just as good as the wooden sword, except it takes up 1 less space and has 1 less upgrade slot. You can see in the bottom right of the picture there, right here. These are forge slots. These are things you can apply to your weapons and stuff that we might run into later. Pandora's box is interesting. It creates a curse, adds great luck, and deals 10 damage to all enemies, but is then destroyed. Oh, and here we got offered a mana stone. So, actually I'll get rid of this. You'll see that you can take up to 3 items on a reward screen. I forgot to go over this. So if I were to take these 3 items, I wouldn't be able to take any more that are offered here. The main difference is that after some fights you might get offered a mana stone, which don't count towards this. Towards your item limit from the reward screen. Let's see what else is here. Shurikens are one-time use. Some of them create more shurikens. They usually deal a small amount of damage, but they are free. And some of them have nice effects, like this one creates a shuriken in its space, so you can just fire off another random shuriken, potentially. Flower is a consumable that adds haste. Haste increases the amount of block you gain when you gain block. So normally our shield gives us 7 block, but if we had 8 haste, it would give us 7 plus 8. And weakness, generally not something you want to give to yourself, but this gives it to yourself as a drawback for giving you so much haste. Reduces your attack damage by however many weak you have. So if we were still using our wooden sword, we'd swing our sword, but with 2 weak, it would deal 2 less, down to 5 damage. So generally not something that you want to do. It also takes up 2 spaces in your inventory. You can see how many spaces it takes up in the top left. These are 2 boxes. That means it takes up 2 boxes. You can also rotate things, right-clicking, to fit them more neatly into your backpack. But I think we will take the wooden blade. And you know what? I'll take Pandora's box. Oh, it only takes up 1 space. I didn't even know that. This is the first time I'm taking Pandora's box. Oh, this little coin. What is this? I never really looked at the icon. I just sort of accepted it was a coin. But these are chests that you can find in the world. And they will contain sometimes good stuff, oftentimes not so good stuff. Oh, since we just talked about hazards, that's nice. Reversal amulet. For each hazard in this row, adjacent weapons get +1 damage. I've never used this item. It's not very good. That's also something I'll be walking through is which items I feel are generally useful and which are generally not useful. This warm drink is very good. It is a consumable, costs 0 energy. On use, you just heal for 10 HP, and then is replaced with an empty cup, which you can throw at your enemies for 0 energy to deal, I think around 3-4 damage. I don't remember, we'll find out soon. And the dart is nice. It's just a consumable. Projectile is important. Projectile attacks do not cause damage from spikes. Later on, we'll find enemies that give themselves spikes or just have spikes naturally. Spikes are a status condition, essentially. Spikes will go down every turn, just like burn or poison. But depending on how much spikes you or the enemy has when you attack them is how much damage you'll take when you hit them with a non-projectile weapon. But unused 10 damage to all enemies is very good. Take another shiv because we might as well. We have the space for it, and it's free. This golden coin is just a pile of coins, so I'll give you 5 gold. Gold is tracked up here. Ooh, and this, mysterious event. Yes, this is just a random event. You find in these question marks, this lady will let us roll a die, and depending on the number, it will increase. Let's roll once. This is sapphire is very good. It floats, so it always goes to the top of your bag. I can't hover over it. That's a weird little bug thing in the event. All right, so we rolled a 2. So if we wanted to, we could just back out now and get the item that is here. But if we roll again, ooh, now we go up by 6. Now this is pretty interesting. When a weapon kills an energy, it adds 6 rage to yourself, but every turn it deals 1 damage to you. I think we're going to try and go for the red pearl. The red pearl is a legendary. Usually it goes common, common, or common, uncommon. Uncommon you can see in the green there. That's an uncommon item. And then rare and legendary. Those are all the rarities. Only 1. Okay, so let's try and roll a 3 here. Another 1. Okay, it's getting, mind the pun, but it's getting a little dicey. Now the King Cleaver isn't something we want in particular. It costs 2 energy and only deals 6 damage, but it has synergy if you have many cleavers. But we do not have any cleavers. But let's go for it. We got a 3. Okay, so we got cursed because we went over in this event. So a curse is an item that is generally alright, but it comes with a serious drawback. Like this, for 1 mana, you deal 7 damage, but each combat, all connected mana stones are disabled for +1 turns. So if this were to be connected to this mana, you can see when you hover over something, the mana flows to your items. So if you have, if these aren't connected, I won't be able to use this in combat because it won't be able to reach the mana. So you need to create like a circuit. So if this one is touching this one, then it can flow through this one because this one is conductive. Magic items get mana from mana stones that are adjacent or connected through conductive items. Okay, so back to the curse. So the way curses work is if I leave this behind, I'll get a curse counter up here, and that means I'm cursed. So the next time I get a reward screen from fighting an enemy, a normal monster on the floor, one of my rewards will be replaced with this blood wand. It'll just keep coming back until I do something about it. But for now, I think we're just going to leave it. And there are ways to get rid of curses, which hopefully we run into because I don't want to get too cursed. Okay, so there's an enemy. You can hover over it and it'll tell you what the enemies are. This doesn't mean much if you don't know what the enemies are regardless. So if Gremlin doesn't mean anything to you, then it's pretty useless. Oh, here is a forge. Now a forge will offer you 4 choices of random upgrades that you can apply. Slow enemy to weapon. Slow reduces the amount of block an enemy gains, similar to weak. Blocked armor. Usually armor items give block every turn, so this will increase the amount of block they give. Spikes to a shield is very good if you're going for a defensive build, if you're going big on shields. Adding 2 spikes to a shield basically means that every time you block, you'll get 2 more shield, or 2 more spikes. So potentially you can just kill enemies by just hitting your shield over and over again and letting them hit you and take damage in return. And rage to melee weapons is very good, that's why it's very expensive. But we don't have any weapons with, actually we do, in the form of the shivs. But generally rage isn't very good on shivs since you can only use them once per turn. That is the downside to them being free. It can be used 1 time each turn. But let's see. And this is a merchant. I don't know why the symbol for a merchant is like a roulette wheel. Okay, so new enemies. Who dis? Thrush soldiers, kind of just general beef lords. They deal decent damage and they block every once in a while. I think every other turn, or maybe once every 3 turns. Enemies do have patterns. They have a set rotation they go through. But as you can see, these guys are starting on a different phase of their rotation. And a gremlin, they are wealthy. When defeated, adds 5 gold. And eventually, the gremlin will try to run away. And if he runs away, obviously you don't get the XP he gives, but also you won't get the gold he gives from killing it. But this is why we have a dart. 10 damage to all enemies. Very good. Now we are missing more than 10 health, so let's use a warm drink. Oh, it deals 6 damage. Empty cup is a projectile that deals 6 damage and is destroyed. Now we can just kill this guy by attacking him twice with our wooden blade. But we can also use Pandora's box to deal 10 more damage to all these guys. We get Homework, another curse. It's 2 mana to connect a mana network, disabled for 1 turn. When your turn ends, remove all mana from connected mana network. Homework is probably the best curse because you can carry it around. It's only 1 slot. It also doesn't have too serious a drawback. Like, I use my first wand here, and then we're fine. We don't have to worry about that. And since each shiv does 2 damage, booyah. Now, I can kill one of these guys using my empty cup and then 2 swipes of the sword, and now I'll have enough energy left over to still use my shield once, give me 7 block, which is the perfect amount. And now we can just finish you off. There you go. If we wanted to, we could have stalled there. We could have used our shield and just waited out until we can see what we get offered from our pop-up over here, which could potentially be a huge thing. In harder difficulties, that's more of a requirement. Oh, okay, so you see there was an item here, which I believe was a Keyblade, but now it got replaced by the Blood one since we are still cursed. Rose will give us 1 spike every turn. Dirt Clump has synergy with Structures, which we've not really seen. Won't go too far into that. Crystal Gauntlets are generally not that good. But in this scenario, they're actually quite nice. So they are glove armor. They don't have any upgrade slots. They take up a lot of space. They take up a T block, if we're using Tetris terms. But adjacent melee weapons get 3 block. Pretty good, pretty good. So now our wooden blade suddenly goes from dealing 7 to doing a pretty respectable 10 damage. And each of these shivs, obviously, more than double their damage. So it's pretty good. In fact, it's so good, I'd be willing to ditch our shield even. Ditching your shield is not something you want to do lightly. Usually having your shield is very important, especially early on. Oh, there's an elite. Well, I don't know what they're called in this game, but I call them elites, using Slay the Spire parlance. Okay, and here's our shop. Here's our shopkeeper. He offers us a lot of common items. I think everything from here left is common. It's always going to have this sort of layout. And then they have a rare, and they always offer a legendary as well. And usually the legendaries are what you want to watch out for. So this one, if there is an item 2 spaces away, it is disabled, but if it's not disabled, each turn it will add 1 energy, which is massive, and we might want to look into buying that. Now you can see the cost there is 35. We do not have enough. But this is an important lesson here. So if we were to sell these crystal gauntlets, you can see the... Oh, whoops. I was going to investigate and then I accidentally just straight up sold them. Okay, so now we're getting closer to the amount of money we need. Alright, can't sell curses. But if you drag an item over to him and release it, it will sell the item to him. What I was going to point out is that you sell items and the money you get is based on their rarity. So since those were rare, it gave me half of what he sells a rare item for. So since he sells a rare item for 20, he'll give me 10 if I sell him a rare item. Now, since he sells legendary items for 35, he will buy legendary items for only 17, so it's half rounded down. Commons cost 3. Oh, this one's on sale. So when something's on sale, which you can only tell by hovering over it and looking at the price, at the bottom there, right there. It's on sale for only 3, which is half. Normally a common item is 6 gold. And you can sell a common item for 3 gold. Let's see. Well, now that we don't have this, we can use a bronze breastplate, which I did not go over. Adjacent diagonal armor gets +2 block, which is not relevant for us since we don't have any other armor. But also adjacent weapons get +1 damage, so not as good as the gauntlets, obviously, but still, it's respectable. I severely wish I hadn't accidentally sold those. But anyways, so now, oh yeah, this also gives us, each turn, it gives us 2 block for free, which is nice. But how are we going to do this? I want to sell this meal for the elite, because the elite is going to give us some trouble. Elites are just, you know, stronger enemies. Now I don't have a shield anymore, because I was confident in our damage, which I got rid of by accidentally selling it. But you know, that's the game. Oh, this is actually massive. So, golden whetstone, legendary, very good item. You can consume this for no cost at all, and put it on top of a weapon, and then that weapon gets 25% bonus damage, which is incredible. But right now we don't have a weapon we want to do that on, because these are all commons, and we're really hoping that we can just find a better weapon. Bandages, also very good. When combat ends, heal for 3 HP. It's just passive healing, very good. Night Shield is a narrow shield. It only takes up 2 slots, so it's much better than our starting shield, even though it gives the same amount of block. It also has the added benefit of adjacent and diagonal armor gets +1 block. So now we will be getting 3 block from this every turn, which is very nice. The Lucky Shuriken, or Lucky Star, obviously, is very good. It's free, deals damage, and gives you luck. Luck, very important, very good stat. But, as you can see, I can't take any more items. But usually, if you see a Lucky Star, you'll want to take it. There's really no downside to it. Open the chest. Don't really get anything here. Machete is interesting. Can be used 1 time each turn, so it's sort of like a shiv, but deals 3 damage to all enemies. Now I could take this in place of the the shivs here. I'll be doing 4 damage to all enemies, which is better for fights that contain a lot of enemies. Spoiled milk gives you block, but it poisons you. It is a consumable. This is another consumable. Heals you and removes poison, so you could synergize those if you wanted to. They both cost 0 to use. Potted aloe. Minute Hand is very good. I'm actually going to take this. So, Minute Hand, you have it pointing to your weapon, and whatever weapon it points to, it will get additional damage. But every turn, it goes clockwise. So, I would only get the damage buff to this wooden sword once every 4 turns. But at the end of a fight, you can just reset it manually. So you can guaranteed have it at the start of every fight, which is very nice. Let's fight these guys. This guy's a defender, so I actually can't target this guy. Normally you can switch between what target you want to hit, but not in this situation, because he is protecting him, and he will gain block, but he only has 20 health. This guy's a little nasty. Mouse Ruffian, he also has anger, if you'll remember. Every time we attack him, he increases in damage, and he's usually always attacks twice, if I remember correctly. So actually, if I machete here, he'll go up to 7/7, which is not good. But this is the elite, so this is where we want to go all out. We'll use our... let's not use our meal yet. We are dealing 10 damage, thanks to Minute Hand. I'll attack you here. Use our wand, because our mana... this mana stone refreshes every combat. Use our meal and block twice. That should give us more than enough block by a little bit. Now, if we wanted to, we could just block up and wait out his anger. So if I just block as much as I can without attacking him, his attack will go down every turn. Now, there is a problem with this, is that most enemies will have some sort of overtime scaling. They'll just naturally do more damage the more turns go on. So usually stalling is not a great plan unless you have adequate means to block. Let's do some damage. And now next turn, our Minute Hand will point out our sword again. So that's when we'll go all out. Let's do that once. Alright, now it's pointing back to our wooden sword, so we're doing 10 damage. Use that, and then use the last of our meal to get rid of that before he does a bunch of damage to us. Nice. Now this curse is still here, but interestingly, we got dynamite. Dynamite is cost 0, and you just move it and place it over an item when you're in combat. And if you place it over an item, that item will just detonate and explode and be gone forever. But we can use it to get rid of the blood wand, which is what I want to do. Fortunately, you don't really have the space for it. Tell you what, we'll get rid of my first wand. My first wand is common, so if we really need it, it'll come to us. If you love it, let it go. And if it comes back, you know it was meant to be. Battle Ring. Battle Ring is pretty lame. One time each turn, so it has a hard limit. And unused adjacent weapons get +1 damage this combat. The real limiting factor is that you can only use it once per turn. Otherwise, it would be pretty good. And there are rings that are much just objectively better, but they are more rare. Short arrow. There are bows in this game that fire arrows specifically. And that doesn't destroy the arrow. It just deals damage based on the arrows. Oh, speaking of bows, yeah, there's one right here. This one's nice because it's free, and it just fires the arrows it points to. So if this was in our bag, and we clicked on this, the first time it would be free. It fires each in the first row to the right, but if you rotate it, you can change it. Column above, row to the left, column below, row right. Oh, you might also notice that this thing changed. It does a little jump. I think I actually ran into a bug because now I can't right click on this. Probably because it transformed. So there's a shoe hat. And right now it's in shoe form, and now it's in hat form. And its effect will change depending on whether it's a shoe or a hat. So before we open this chest, we don't have any space in our inventory. So if there's something good in here, we probably wouldn't be able to take it. So first, you see our experience. We're almost at that level up. So let's try to level up before we do that. Oh, this guy. I love this guy. This is the Lucky Wraith. If you kill him, he does nothing on the first turn. I think on the second turn, he tries to run away. But if you can kill him before he flees, you will add Great Luck, which will increase the rarity of our items that we find. Oh, our stacking star turned into another stacking star. That's the dream come true. And it turned into a fire star. So we'll add burn. There we go. Before we forget, let's use the dynamite. Destroy our curse. Now it won't come back ever again. Also, when it was in our inventory, it would not have come back and stolen one of our rewards. Machete's great here since there's so many enemies. Let's attack you. I don't think I need to attack you anymore because this turn you'll take 3 from the burn, and the next turn you'll take enough damage to end your life. Now these snails are a problem. Their hazards are nasty, and we'll see them in effect here shortly. I'll just attack. I'll take the damage just to make this fight go by quicker because these guys potentially can mess you up with all these goos they put in here. So they inflict you with a lot of goo, and every turn, yep, the goo spreads to adjacent squares. This guy should die. I believe fire goes off at the start of turn. Yes, fire's at the start of turn. So this guy will die before he gets to run away. This is the symbol for running away. This guy will die to... Actually, I guess they'll all die to the machete, regardless. Now... I've still got all this goo, but I can't kill you. There we go. I'll take 6 damage. Oh, we just got offered a legendary. Let's reorganize here. The shield is not very good, but it is legendary, which means it'll sell for 17 gold, which is a massive amount. Okay, now we need to get rid of the goo. So, to get rid of the goo, it costs 1 energy, but once you get rid of 1, all the others will follow. There we go. I think we're good here to just beat on him the old-fashioned way. There we go. Oh, and because we got that great luck, we got some pretty nice rewards here. Heart Ring is 10 max HP, but more importantly, it's 10 max HP as opposed to the other Heart Ring, which was only 5 max HP. Take the book back. Oh, here's a structure. Structures are very good if you have a bunch of them, but by themselves, they don't do anything. For each adjacent structure, +1 block. So if you stack a bunch of these, they can give you a bunch of block per turn. Soldier's Buckler is pretty alright, but it is 4 slots. Adjacent weapons get +1 damage to this combat. So it helps you scale in damage. But I think I'll just take... is this fish better? Yes, it is. It'll heal us for the same amount of 10, but it will also add rage to ourselves, so we do more damage. Which we might need for this other elite fight that we're going to do. And you see that once we came in line in the same row or column as the elite, it is now angry. So now if we try to get away, you will chase us. Before that, we will sell the mirror shield. Oh, I forgot to explain the mirror shield. But luckily there's Alice, which you can search items for. It also sorts them all into these categories, and you can just see their cards, which is nice. So mirror shield, only 6 block, which is less than your starting shield. Removes 2 spikes from enemies, which isn't always useful since not all enemies have spikes. It also removes rage from enemies. Once again, not all enemies have rage, but it does have 3 upgrade slots, which is potentially good. But let's go fight this enemy and then level up. These guys will steal gold from us, and they are cowardly. So if we were to kill this guy first, they would run away with all the gold they stole. But if they steal your gold, that's fine, as long as you kill them before they escape. No, I should use my rage fish first before the machete, because now the machete would have done 9 damage instead of 4. Now we're doing 13. Nice. We'll block, because this guy's doing a lot of damage. Now he has our 5 gold on him. So if we don't kill him, he will try to get away with that. Okay. Now this guy is just plain annoying, but we should attack him as much as possible while while we still have a little bit of rage. Now can we kill you from here? Yes. No, I cannot. So we'll take it slow. 9 damage. 18 plus 5 is lethal. Beautiful. Sometimes you just gotta math it out. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit funky. It's gonna be a little bit funky. So that legendary item in the shop, it said that if there's an item 2 spaces away, it is disabled. So we won't get the benefit, the sizable benefit of getting another energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to position our backpack so that we can put it in this corner and get its benefit. So by putting it in this corner, if there's an item here or here, which would be 2 spaces away from this corner pocket, it would be disabled. So what we're going to do is just make sure we don't level up here or here. And we'll just leave those spaces open so we don't even have to worry about it being even potentially disabled. Ooh, scimitar is a rare. Here's another dynamite to get rid of our homework, but also another way of getting rid of curses is clean burn. Removes 100% of status effects on self. Items this is played on are destroyed. So it's basically dynamite except with the added effect of removing status effects from yourself. We'll take a key since we have the space. We'll take a scimitar since we can sell it. And we'll take dynamite to get rid of our homework. Also, don't take that out of context, kids. Do your homework. Don't blow up your homework. I'm here to teach good lessons. Not to incentivize A, not doing your homework, and B, destructive behavior like blowing up your homework. Cool drink. Instead of healing us, it just gives us 1 energy, so pretty good. It also gives you a cup, so you can do a 6 extra damage. Magic Star Bag. This is one of the many items that creates shurikens, which is very nice, but we don't have the mana to use that. Crossbow is a bow, except normally a bow will fire the first arrow in a row or column. This fires all arrows in a row or column, but at the trade-off of giving them all minus 40% bonus damage. Crossbow is a very good item, but you really have to build around it and find the right sort of things for it. Give an accessory. Okay, so we could give this guy an accessory, and in return, he will give us more accessories. Now, can we give him homework? We can. Okay, so there's another way of getting rid of homework. Oh, now this is curious. So this is a relatively new mechanic. It's a spectral orb. Adjacent items are ghostly. And what that means is that ghostly items cannot be detected. So normally this item would be disabled. You can see it's disabled, Crimson Energy. That's because there's an item 2 spaces away. But if this item is undetectable, hold on. Yeah, but if the item that's 2 spaces away is undetectable, then this can't detect that it's there, so then it will not be disabled. So that's very interesting. So I can actually do this. Sapphire, it's light, it floats, so if I try to put it here, it'll just go to the top. It always floats to the top of your backpack, but if the top of your backpack is there, that's as far as it'll go. So now, this will give adjacent weapons +1 damage. So we're doing 11, and the minute hand's giving the other +2. And we can also take Piggy Bank. When combat ends, +2 gold. Piggy Bank early on, very good. Incredibly good. Money is very powerful in this game. Oh, and this is a curse chest. But just when I thought I was out of curses... oh god. I was going to explain this guy real quick, but then it's quicker to explain the curse chest. So, curse chest, contrary to popular belief, doesn't always have a curse inside of it. But it will often have a curse inside of it. It'll also usually have some pretty good stuff in here too. But not this time either. We have wooden knife, which is like wooden sword, except it has the stipulation that it has to be next to a shield if you want to get that 7 damage. Acidic potion deals 12 damage to all enemies, so it's pretty good. Sort of like dart. And this is Little Lamp. Used with these types, curse. On alternate use, cleanses a curse. So we can actually, before even putting this in our backpack, we can cleanse the curse of this rapier. So now if we leave this rapier behind, it won't add to our curse tally. So it is officially gone if we leave it here. Another cap. Good head armor. For each space below, gives +1 block. But we don't really have the space for that. Or do we? You know what? Let's get rid of the key. I'm generally not a huge fan of keys because... usually early on there aren't many locked boxes, and by the time you find locked boxes later on in the game, it's usually not worth it. Now, we can pay this guy to find a specific kind of item. So you know what, I usually don't do this, but let's do it for now. Now, I don't know the math on this guy. You can give him up to like $30. Let's give him 15 and have him find us a weapon. Now, it's a gamble, because he could just give us a bad weapon that we can't use. But hopefully that is not the case. Here's another lucky wraith, so let's try and focus him down. We'll even use our energy here. And beat him up. Okay, cool. Now we still have plenty of energy, so we can... taking 16. How much damage are we doing? 11. I can just hit you twice. And then block once. Beautiful. Delightful. Now for this guy, I think we just stick to tried and true. We do have 7 block passively because of all of our block items. Where are we getting 7 block from? Hold on. Hold on. Why are we getting 7 block? Actually don't know why we have 7 block. Was that a bug? That might be a bug. At one point there was a bug where enemies would give you block instead of giving themselves block, so that might be what happened. Let's see if we get 7 block again. We do have 7 block again. What did we... what? Oh, because of the leather cap, that's right. This is giving us 4. Yes, that's right. Ooh, I was a little worried there. Ooh, but look at all this, thanks to the lucky wraith. So, we are offered a dark whetstone. Dark whetstone, incredible item. Can be used 1 time each turn. It costs an energy, but it gives weapons in this row +1 weak this combat. So if we put this in line with our wooden sword here, and we activate this, this would apply 1 weak with every time we attack someone, which is huge, which is incredibly good. We can get rid of the dynamite, so we don't have a curse anymore. We'll probably take the frothy drink since we're pretty low on health. We're almost at half health. Brick arrow synergizes with the structures, but we don't have a bow anyways. The same thing with crooked arrow. It's a very strong arrow, but it's rare, but we simply don't have the space for it. So let's heal up from the shrine. And this is These 3 little plus signs are experience. You get 5 XP for collecting these. Let's go back to the forge. What were we offered at the forge? Rage to a weapon, block to armor, spikes to a shield, slow weapon. Nope. Don't forget to reset the minute hand. Check the shop one more time. I think we're good. So now, onto the floor 3, which is the end of Act 1, so to speak. This is the Bramble finale. We are a third of the way through once we defeat this boss. So there are 9 floors. Every third floor is a boss. So on floors 3, 6, and 9, 9 being the final boss. And let's fight this guy. Remember, we saw his visage in an early event. The Hawk Knight is kind of nasty. He does poison and damage, and also has a bunch of health. So let's consume our frothy drink. That'll give us a cup that we can just throw at him. And let's just start wailing on him. We'll block a little bit. Poison you cannot block, unlike burn. So we will take that 2 damage at the end of our turn, no matter what we do, no matter how much block we have. We have 4 energy every turn. So feeling pretty good about that. 2, 3, and then block. I actually should be using the dark whetstone. It's the fact that it's dark makes it hard to notice that it's clickable here. It's entirely my bad. Yeah, well, dark whetstone, just to show you how weak works. We can, and if our machete was also in the same row or column, is it row? No, it's only this row. Okay, so if the machete was also in this row, it would also give the benefit to the machete. Oops. Pardon, I dropped something. Alright. But yes, let us... So when we attack him, he will do 1 less damage because he has 1 weak. If we attack him again, he'll do another less damage on account of another weak. But now if we just block, we're fine. Oh, now the minute hand's pointing up, so we basically got this in the bag. Okay, what do we got here? Bombstone. Brutal Bombstone, I'm sorry. All weapons get plus 500% damage, but when a weapon is used, it gets destroyed. So this is very good with shurikens. There are also some weapons that do their damage passively without needing to be used, and that also works with this. Spring Gem, decrease the cost of all adjacent items to 0 energy, but it is then disabled for 1 turn. And Shield Spirit, which lets you keep half your block next turn, which is probably what we're going to take. That's the best option for us. But let us consult the healer. And once you finish the boss floor, there's no other fights. It's just the boss. Then you are rewarded with being able to visit the healer, which can heal you a bunch, give you max HP, or cleanse all your curses. We usually try to go for the gain max HP. You only get offered one of those choices. So once you made your decision, that's the end of that. You can't gain max HP and heal. Crisis Ring is an interesting item. Unused adjacent items are used, but they are disabled for the rest of combat. So these are pretty interesting. I've never really found a use for them though. Another cap is here, and so is my first wand, but we're kind of past my first wand. But with that, we can proceed either to the Deep Cave or the Enchanted Swamp. But this video is already long enough, so I think I'm probably going to break it up here. And I'll hopefully catch you next time. Take it easy, and good luck.